Hey folks, welcome. We are GrownAGeeks. This is our Deadpool and Wolverine preview. Joining me tonight, we have Cashmere the Pro. We've got Miss Teresa, Jeffrey JPNT17, Brandy, and I'm Elder Geek Sam. And we're going to talk about the upcoming movie, Deadpool and Wolverine. Let's just start with a general roundtable discussion. State of the MCU. With this new movie actually bridging the Fox universe, the X-Men movies, that whole merger taking place. This is the movie that's going to bring these two worlds together. With the state of the MCU as it is, where are we sitting right now in the MCU? How are you feeling about the MCU as a whole? And go.
All right, there it is. Go ahead. I'll set the tone. I'll set the tone. I don't care.
All right.
Here's the thing. I just don't see this. I don't see the state. This just magically, no pun intended, Teresa. This just magically improving the state of the MCU. I think I'm going to enjoy the movie. I'm going to enjoy the movie because I like Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. I like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. And in general, the Deadpool movies have been enjoyable. So I feel like overall, I'm probably going to enjoy the movie on its own individual merits. But the state overall is, the MCU recently has been really good at trailers. And that's pretty much that's what they excel at. They lure you
get you hyped up, get your attention.
Yeah, but
so what? They're not delivering after they get you hyped up. Is that
no? Phase everything post Endgame has been absolutely terrible. I feel bad as a fan that I can't remember what phase number we're up to.
I wouldn't say it's been absolutely terrible.
Oh my God. And that's been absolutely, let me tell you something.
WandaVision was post Endgame.
Okay.
Loki.
So the shows. Okay. So as far as the shows go.
Spider-Man?
Two very good. Okay.
Hold on. It's not just picking apart his whole argument.
Look, I'm just saying, if we did a Pareto,
okay,
how many good shows to bad shows? I feel like the bar of bad shows is larger than the bar of good shows. There have been some shows that I've liked, but the majority of them have been just big whiffs. So look, I'm just saying.
No, I mean that's a personal
I'm setting
take.
it off instantly. Okay. This is as far as where this show is going to trend tonight, folks. It's gonna go up. It's gonna go up.
Okay.
The Black Plagueist starts you right at the bottom. Expectations low.
That hot take right there gave us plenty to work with for this show. So thank you.
My people are gonna put you in a good position.
Okay, well, I would have to immediately come on the back end of that and say that I don't think the state of the MCU is nearly as bad as everyone wants to make it seem. They may have lost their direction a little bit because of the kerfuffle with Quantumania and having to scramble to do some recasting and such. But even then, I don't feel like it was just in such disarray that everything is terrible and we don't know. They've been doing this for plenty of time. You gonna hit a wave or two because it's not like every movie that was in the MCU was a banger. You gonna have some ups and downs. You gonna hit some turbulence along the way. But as a whole, I feel like the MCU has been just as strong because coming up, we still have projects moving forward that people are going to be looking forward to. I think Deadpool and Wolverine, like, the biggest thing that stands out for this is there's nothing else releasing around this. Nothing else this year comes from Marvel. So everything gets to sit on this movie. And it doesn't even have to be a phenomenal movie. As RG seems to feel, he's already going in thinking he's going to like the movie. That's a plus. I feel the same. Like, honestly, I don't feel that I have to do much to enjoy this movie. I like the last two. I'm not going to say I'm a fan of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, but I'm used to Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. So
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I expect. And because I got accustomed to him being Wolverine by the time we got around to Logan, okay, now I've made attachment to him as Wolverine, and that movie slaps. So I'm good with him coming back. I don't know that it would even make sense to have anybody else do it at this point. So of course it's like this is going to be maybe the most anticipated. Like I can't think of another movie that's coming out this year that has me excited the way this movie has me excited. For those who were listening, I air quoted excited.
I do.
What
Wicked,
which
Wicked,
one?
Wicked, Wicked has
Wicked.
me this excited.
Wicked. Okay, and see, Wicked probably
Let's do an
has
episode
Look
on
at Jeff.
Wicked.
Jeff's musical
no,
gene
no, no, no,
kicked
no.
in and was
And you
like,
know what? I will say that I am actually quite excited. Y'all got me a little interested and hyped up for Wicked as well.
It's
Am
very
I
good.
am I
"Great trailer."
invested the
Let me
way I'm
know.
invested? I'm not invested the same way though. You know what I'm saying? Like I've seen the Wizard of Oz. I've seen the Wiz. I know the story, if you will. I need to read the book
But you
because
haven't
apparently
seen the
that's
play.
so I need to see the play. But
If you,
isn't the play based on the book?
I don't
The
know.
book is
I'm
so
not.
and dry and
I ain't
wordy,
reading the
and
book.
Okay,
it's
so
not
just
the
skip
If
the
they
same.
made
book,
a
go
play
right to
or
the
a
play.
movie,
The book
why
was
do I
good.
need to read the book?
Skip the
It's just
book, go
not
right
the
to the play.
Yeah.
same.
Okay. Well,
It's
I mean,
not
we got a
the same,
movie
but the
coming out.
book
I just
was
wait for the
good.
movie. You know what? I'm gonna catch the cliff notes, wait for the movie. That looks good. It seems intriguing, and I'm all about these characters and the way they've presented this story just in the trailer. I'm with you, but it ain't Deadpool and Wolverine. That's all for me. For me, and that's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
I can't think of another movie this year. The next movie that's got me even remotely interested in like being hype about something don't come out till next summer. So that I got some time on those
Mm.
movies. You know what I'm saying?
He
But
mystery boxed us.
yeah, like it's. I think with the current state of the MCU, this movie can do nothing but. It's not in disarray. I don't think it's so far down, and this movie is just going to be another W, and this can carry them through the rest of the year.
There's the trend line. Told you, folks. Show's just going up from here.
I'm gonna go.
Okay, Brandon,
Um,
what you got?
I just remembered there's another movie that I'm super excited about this year. Well, a couple because Beetlejuice and Joker 2. Um,
Uh,
I'm all in.
I'm absolutely
But
gonna see it. I hate to admit, I'm gonna see it. Probably opening weekend.
I'm in.
Like
I didn't
opening
think they needed
weekend.
a second one, but the trailers have me so intrigued that
And Gaga's
I'm
good.
very anxious to see what they do with it.
Gaga is good.
Gaga is so good. I'm telling you, she won me over in House of Gucci. Ever since that movie, I'm
Okay,
officially
okay.
a Gaga actress fan. Um,
I'm
but
interested in seeing Fleck Part Two. I'll say that.
I'm
I don't know about
just
seeing
interested in
Joker,
where
Folly
are we going
Ado.
with this? What are we doing? Because we're not building a world, right? Like they're not building this up to be the DC universe over there.
It's
We're not, he's
it's
not going to deal with
not connected
Pattinson's
at all.
Batman. This doesn't, so we're, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, what are we doing with that? But I digress. Um, I really look forward
Tangent.
to, uh, I'm really looking forward to that. You know why? Because it's not even just that I love Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, which I do. I love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine because, like you said, that's the movie Wolverine. He just is that guy. But I really enjoyed their relationship, independent of that. Like their
Yeah.
friendship in real life has me really because they have chemistry. He got as much chemistry with Hugh Jackman as he does with his wife. Like there's just something
Mm.
about those two, what the way they interact even on social media. They're
Yeah.
very, good friends, and so I'm kind of just interested to watch them play off of each other. And also, as far as the state of the MCU, this very much has the opportunity to be somewhat of a reset. So I'm very interested as far as with the multiverse, what are they going to change? What's going to, you know what I mean? What
Right.
characters are going to come back? What characters aren't going to come back? I'm hoping Wanda at some point. Like, I want them to do something because I feel like in the middle of everything, like, how do you, I'm still upset that they decided to do Doctor Strange with someone who had never watched WandaVision. So you don't even know who Wanda is. And it showed. And Sam, I love him.
Yeah.
I love him. I think he's a great director, but Wanda deserved better. So I'm hoping that some things may be reset. Maybe we get a new Kang. Maybe this is the introduction of a new Wolverine in our universe. Because from the trailer, it looks as though this Wolverine isn't in our universe. So,
Right.
however
It
that
doesn't
goes.
even look
This
like
so
it's the
maybe this is.
same. That gets into my speculation bit, which I'll try to refrain from doing here. So
So I'm very curious, but all in all, I mean, I could walk in and they could literally sit in two chairs across from each other and talk to each other the whole time, and I'm in for 2 hours. So that's
do one of
all
those
I got.
Kevin Smith on
I just
stage kind of
want to
things.
see
I
them.
used to love those, and
Yeah,
that man can talk for 5 hours. I sit right there, just
yeah. Him and Jason
and
Mewes,
then what
they would do
happened?
those
And
shows.
Silent Bob said, "What?"
Right. Yeah, I'm with you there. Teresa, state of the MCU and Deadpool and Wolverine.
Thank you for repeating the question. Um, I am definitely looking forward to the movie. I think more so because of the hype, the general hype around it. I am not a Deadpool fan because that's not the kind of humor. Well, we all know that I don't do comedy.
Right, right.
And
Right.
so, and Deadpool is very rooted in really raunchy, slapstick, stupid comedy.
Yeah.
As I revisited when I watched Deadpool and Deadpool 2 yesterday, or, earlier this week.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Um,
the character seems like he
so,
was made for 13-year-old boys.
yeah, and I'm a 50-year-old Black woman. So, it Deadpool isn't my favorite character, but I am looking forward to the movie most definitely because it has the potential, like Randy said, to reset. I mean, it just has the potential to. It has a lot of potential,
Yeah,
with Deadpool
yeah.
possibly being Marvel Jesus, and with the TVA whatever it is involved. There's a lot of potential just for, like, what do I call it, fruit basket turnover or whatever, just anything could happen. And
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to it because of the hype. I'm with Sam on the fact that I don't think the MCU is in a bad place. As we discussed in our therapy episode, I do think that they need to refocus. But I think, they got sidetracked with COVID and they started throwing all kinds of stuff against the wall and not too much was sticking. So, but I see that they are kind of slowing it down and refocusing a bit. And so I think they're fine. I think they have stopped doing so many, like, origin story side things that were just unnecessary.
Yeah.
I see that they had a little bit of purpose and, they build onto the story or whatever. But I think they're kind of just streamlining and focusing, and they realize that that's what they need to do because they were throwing too much stuff against the wall and not too much was sticking. So I mean, I
Everybody
don't
was
think
stuck at home. They had a captive audience. They could put whatever the hell they want to put out. We was hungry to have anything because we couldn't do shit. So
and the writers were too. The writers were stuck at home, so they were just,
hey, I had this one idea for this one thing. Write it up.
Exactly, and we'll film it for Disney Plus, and it's gonna suck. But yeah, I very excited. but I'm unlike Cash. I don't think the MCU is in a bad place. Because I'm one of those that really just watches movies for entertainment anyway. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be a big turning point in my life or whatever. And
I was moved when I went to
A
see
turning
Deadpool and
point.
Wolverine.
right,
Changed
What
my
are you trying to
life.
and the,
say?
the
Oh,
movies are
triggered.
still entertaining
Hashtag
me.
What do you mean
triggered.
by that? What do you mean by
A
that?
lot of other people didn't like the Marvels. I liked the Marvels. I was entertained, and
Yeah.
so yeah, that's my ramble.
Okay. Okay. Jeffrey, thoughts?
State of the
All right. Hold on.
MCU.
Let me get a drink. Let me get comfortable.
No, I'm not gonna go crazy. I feel like I'm probably, pretty much lock in step with Teresa on a lot of what she was saying. I don't think that I think that the reason why everything post Endgame people say Marvel's done is because it was so good that, like, when you do something average, it's like,
It looks terrible.
oh, you suck
Yeah.
now. It's kind of like, we got the Olympics coming up,
Mhm.
right? Like, my wife's a big gymnastics fan. I watch it with her, and I'll see Simone Biles do something crazy and like take a huge step on her landing. And in my mind, I'm like, well, she didn't stick the landing. And my wife's, yeah, but like, yeah, she did 3 backflips and 2 spins and landed
The
like
difficulty rating on that
backwards,
was
and
Some
high
most
enough
shit
people
to
will
she's
break
only
their
can do.
right.
absorb that step.
Exactly. So the trick she did was so crazy that the fact that she landed it and took a big step is still a higher score than everything else. So even as much as we are saying Marvel fell off, it's still better than Zack Snyder's DC universe. You know what I'm saying? And like DC been real quiet and we
Mm,
acting like we forgot about what happened over there. But like,
mm, mm.
what would you rather
Don't bring it up.
have?
Don't
Falcon
bring
and
it up.
Winter Soldier or Justice League the Snyder cut? Exactly.
Dang
So
poppy seed.
How about
That
some
poppy
rebel moon?
seed.
How about some rebel moon in between?
right.
Mm.
So I think that the way
That
I
didn't even
see
have
it,
characters I like. At least with Justice League, I like some of the folks on screen.
but do you like the way they're presented?
I mean, it's you were saying. Continue.
Exactly. So I think that like
We're not talking about DC. We talk
what I
about Deadpool and Wolverine.
well, so actually when Cashmere the Pro made his comment about everything post Endgame, I actually went and looked up a lot of the stuff that came out post Endgame, and it's like
Ashmere the hater.
there's good stuff that got forgotten about because some of it isn't tied into this larger universe. So you have like Moon Knight, which everybody loved when it came out, but then like, okay, we don't know what's going to happen with it again, but that's still part of the MCU. You know what I mean? So, and I look at like what the building blocks they have to build on, right? We got the new Captain America coming out. I'm curious about that. I liked a lot of Captain America. I liked a lot of Falcon and Winter Soldier, but I know that was not very popular. I know Hawkeye wasn't popular with everybody, but I'm a Haley Steinfeld fan, so you can't say nothing bad about her to me.
I
You
don't
know,
think she's a
I,
bad person. I think that's a terrible character. Let me just make that
I think that
distinction.
show did not know whether it wanted to focus on Kate Bishop or focus on Clint Barton. And by focusing on neither, by trying to focus on both, they focused on neither. And the story we got did not do, I think, a good enough job of showcasing Kate Bishop as the person who's going to be taking this mantle to the next level. They made it seem like it's like a team up thing when it really should have been like a Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi
A
thing. And
passing
it's
the
like
torch
when
story.
Daniel's son is at school, we don't care about what Mr. Miyagi is doing until Daniel get out of school and go wax on, wax off. And like you taking me on side male Hawkeye missions and meeting Echo and all these other people, and I'm like, I'm here for Kate. Like, what's she doing? Show me the training. Show me this other stuff. So I think
Show me the training, big energy for that.
they had some missteps, and I think going back to what Teresa said, I think part of it too was like they let the writers control the tone of each individual project so much so that it all became disjointed. Whereas
Yes.
before Endgame, you did have the different genres, but the tone within those genres still was like, this is Marvel. Yes, there's humor, but it's still serious. And then, we don't even have to talk about Taika Waititi. I don't ever want to see that man in the
Exactly.
Marvel, like anything associated with Marvel ever again. Thank you for Ragnarok. I enjoyed it, but you blew your load and you went too far.
I hated
Deadpool
that
and
one too.
Wolverine. I am not a huge Deadpool fan, but I like the movies. Great fight scenes. I think it was a very good, palatable movie adaptation of a character who I do not enjoy in the comic books at all. Because he's just the kind of person where I'm just like, bruh, shut up. Wolverine. I love that character. I have been on record about being tired of Hugh Jackman in this role. It's time. It's time. 1999. I was a freshman in high school when this man like started the role. Like, it's time. You know what I mean? Like, we have to get to a place where we are ready to we move forward with every other X-Men character except him. And the focus on Wolverine as well, where X-Men has always been a team. I think we talked about this when we reviewed X-Men 97. The thing that
Yes.
most of us liked so much is they were balanced. They did a great job of
Yeah.
focusing on all of the characters. You felt and understood why each member of the X-Men team was there. They all got a chance to focus. They all got a chance to fight. They all got a chance to contribute something major to the storyline. And that's way more congruent to what happens in the comics than what has happened in a lot of the previous movies, where we're taking Days of Futures Past and replacing Kitty Pryde with Wolverine. Like, that don't even make sense to a degree. Why are we telling this story then? Why don't we just pick a Wolverine story and tell that? It's because you want to do Days of Future Past, but you can't sell it to the studio if it's not
Without
focused on
Wolverine.
Hugh Jackman.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So with this movie, I am cautiously excited because I think that it can be a good movie. But I already thought we saw the end of this Wolverine with Logan, and it was done very well. It was done very poetically. Why are we digging him back up? Why are we not recasting Wolverine?
And
Deadpool,
see,
in order to make me feel like, in order to make, like, this movie needs to stick this landing. And this better not turn into welcome to the MCU Hugh Jackman. Cause I'm a scream in the theater.
yeah,
I'm going early in the day, so hopefully nobody else is in there. But I this has to be like nail in the coffin on Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, in my opinion. He said it and he keep coming, but he keeps saying he done and coming back. Like,
They all
bruh,
keep
be
saying it.
just be done. And with Deadpool, I'm curious to how what this is going to mean for him in the MCU, because his tone
Does not fit.
doesn't really fit, but his character is not supposed to fit. So I get what they're doing, but it's like,
Right.
I'm curious about how it's going to fit. I kind of understand just from what I saw from the one trailer about what they're going to try to do, but I'm curious about like how it's going to finish and what the aftermath of it is going to be.
Can we
Because
explore that? Because I had a follow-up question. As the person who believes that this is going to go into the dumpster and then gasoline's going to get poured on it and then there's going to be a gigantic bonfire on top of that dumpster,
really.
every single one of y'all mentioned potential, right? Like, oh, this can open up and bring the MCU to some place that I have absolutely zero faith that it's going to go. From each of you,
what place is that?
where do you? I don't know. I just don't. I don't feel it's going to go anywhere. Right? I don't feel it's going to go anywhere. I feel they fucked it up. You got Eternals. You got to figure out what to do with.
No, you
Right?
don't.
You got
Different
Shang
planet.
Chi.
Do
You
do
got
you care what happens
Shang-Chi.
with
You got
Eternals?
Kang. It's not about what I care. It's what they money was in. Right? You put all
And
this money into. You've got all these bridges. Right? We're talking about
but
the
just
MCU
like
from the
anything
Disney
else, they're looking
perspective.
at what
But are
worked.
we talking
What
about, right? Are we talking about Venom? Are we talking about Craven? Are we you know what I'm saying? Are we
I'm
talking
not
about them?
talking about any of those movies, but I do understand based on the last Spider-Man movie, like, when we consider the MCU multiverse, those things are considered part of the MCU multiverse because
So that's
Jamie
my question.
Foxx's Shocker and all those other people are all characters. Like in that universe, Jamie Foxx's Shocker
Right.
in the MCU is Bokeem Woodbine.
So
Like,
that's my question to each of y'all, right? Where I have no answer for this.
where do we think it's going, or where do we want it to go?
I will. I figured here.
Either
If you're
and
trying
or
to
both.
sell this, you're trying to sell this to someone who doesn't feel that this is good at all. I'm not going. I don't want to devote another dollar of my money to Disney Marvel movies. So,
Okay.
what would you say to the person that doesn't want to? Where do you feel
like
this
mutants?
is going to go?
Do you like
I
mutants?
absolutely love X-Men, and y'all know
Okay.
I love X-Men '97. So
Okay. So the live
You were
action
sour
X-Men.
about that initially too. So maybe
yeah, but
give this a chance.
I turned around. Did you not see the
Okay.
180?
So
I'm
in
gonna
this case,
maybe not 180, but 160, 160.
if you
Kind of
like
good at
X-Men
160.
and you like
Haterade.
mutants, you need a character, and this is why the conversation of potential comes up, because as I mentioned, with the merger, with Marvel now having the rights back to these characters, with Marvel now having the cinematic rights to the X-Men, this is the welcome home party. Deadpool and Wolverine is essentially the welcome home party, the hey, we miss you, we're glad you're back. We're going to throw a big party, have a big feast. And once you get back and get, your feet on the ground, we got to get you a job. We got to get you established. We got to celebrate when you get here. But after that, it's time to go to work. And so this movie, Deadpool and Wolverine, honestly, I'm very hopeful that Jeff's points get made in this movie, and this is the last time we see Hugh Jackman, because we know just from the trailers, just from what little bit they've shown, we know we've got the TVA, so we know we've got multiverse situations. This Wolverine that we're going to see on screen, honestly, I don't think it's Logan, because Logan died. We saw that movie; he died. So the Wolverine we're going to see is not technically Logan. It's not that Wolverine, figuratively speaking. It is
Right.
a Wolverine, and even that, he's got the comic accurate costume and whatnot. So that's got to be one of the multiverses, many, many, many Wolverines, and we'll probably see more than one. But the main 616 Wolverine is going to be this Hugh Jackman character that we're seeing in the trailer and everything. Now, you bring that character into the cinematic universe, into the MCU, and now you have officially canonized mutants in the MCU. And since everybody knows Wolverine, with all the movies, you can't do an X-Men movie and not talk about Wolverine. You can't have X-Men and not show Wolverine. It could be X-Men First Class before Wolverine was even an X-Man, and we still got to put damn Wolverine in the movie.
Mm.
We have the little kids, we got to have a cameo into the movie, Wolverine. You know what I'm saying? So I'm with Jeff on that part. I'd be okay to not see Wolverine for a little bit. There's some other X-Men out there that are pretty interesting and really cool. And now's a great time to not even like, let's deep dive and find these random ass X-Men. No, use the established X-Men. If you take just the original X-Men family, Wolverine doesn't come along until later. So if you have to do an intro, sure, go ahead and introduce it with Wolverine. Take your moneymaker. Wolverine and Spider-Man are like Marvel's Batman. Like, you can't do shit unless you have them, because that's where the money's made. That's where the money is. And if you put a movie out, you're trying to make money, you're going to stick them in it. That's the formula. Now, where's it going to take us? It's going to give us the opportunity as far as the reset. If he's jumping around timelines, if you ever read any of the comics, and this is one of those, like, if you like comics, check these out. Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe. That shows Deadpool's interaction and how he has access to everybody in the Marvel Universe. For those exact purposes, he could technically have the same connection in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They're going to have to change a little bit because, they haven't introduced death, the whole Thanos relationship and that type of thing, and how he's actually immortal. They They can gloss over a lot of that stuff, but they can still show that he's got the access. He's got the time skipper he got from Cable. So he's, in and out, in and out, in and out. He can interact, change a little thing here. It's going to end up being butterfly effect. He changes one thing there, and then poof, there's a whole bunch of X-Men over here. And now they don't have to tiptoe and make the little jokes where they can only show two X-Men on screen at any time, where they just have Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead. They can have whatever X-Men they want because they now have the rights to all of it. So that's where that potential comes. And that's why Deadpool and Wolverine has this heavy burden, because it will be the first one to merge. It'll be the first one to bring those two worlds together. We have all the stuff that's been established in Loki and some of the other things that we're going to see. Like I said, so much is already out there. So be careful. I'm not going to personally ruin anything on here saying what I've seen, but there's enough content out there already to let you know where some of these connections exist with the MCU specifically. Gotcha. Because Deadpool and Wolverine, just from the trailer, you don't really see where that MCU connection is.
Gotcha.
And I mean, that's where it can go with, that's where the potential comes from.
All right. So yeah. Who else feels like they can sell the future of the MCU?
I honestly do feel like this, because we know this isn't our Wolverine, because I know of certain character that is in the movie that is from a different point of where Wolverine is in our universe. So
right.
I know this isn't our Wolverine, and I don't think that he's going to stay. I do believe it was go get this person to stop whatever it is that's happening over here. You need this person to fight these people. Is what I think. Again, I've only seen the first preview. I have gone out of my way to avoid any additional information, but just from what I've picked up, that's what I believe this is. And in the process, it's going to blow the multiverse open, because you see that they're fighting in nowhere. We see all of the debris and all the sets and all the various properties from all these different studios and stuff in this area. So what does that mean? Who comes out of that? Fantastic Four could come out of that. Besides the X-Men, we could definitely, you know what I mean, be opening the door to a lot of things. And the thing that I think a lot of people aren't necessarily picking up on, or maybe they are, but at this point people are so marveled out, but a lot of the TV show stuff is finding its way into these movies.
Yeah.
So I'd be very interested to see what pieces of, maybe there's some stuff from What If that might pop up in Deadpool. Maybe, Captain Britain or whatever her name is, or you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like the potential for what could be in this movie and what worlds it could open up.
If we get a Deadpool She-Hulk fourth wall conversation.
Well, hold on. Can I get a little clarification? I just want a little clarification, Brandy. Because what you're mentioning is you're mentioning potential cameos, right? Doors that could be open and things like that. And these are doors that have been kind of previously hinted at, right? We saw Reed Richards. We saw, we've seen these things in other movies. Where do you think it's going to actually go? Where do you think it's actually going to go? That in a way should keep people interested.
I think that at the end of this, when the smoke clears, the MCU will be the same, except it won't be the same, because we'll have all of these new characters now and Deadpool. I feel like this is moving on to the next phase. Like, okay, now we can do Fantastic Four. Now we can do X-Men and
crossover.
We don't have to do origin stories because we've already done those. We can literally just walk into these characters, and hopefully I really, really hope that they introduce Storm and Rogue and Gambit, in this multiverse. And and we'll see. I don't have expectations like, oh my God, I left Deadpool and Wolverine and like my whole perspective has changed. I can
Right.
see that was once blind. I just feel like it will be a great opportunity to bring these characters into the world without having to make it a production, without having to do origin story. I mean, we don't need not one more origin. We know Fantastic Four got their powers from space. Move on. We don't need another X-Men origin. We get it. They're X-Men. Move on. They showed that that could work with X-Men 97.
Yeah.
That we could walk right into the story. We know these characters. We don't need no backstory, no explanations.
Like Jeff just pointed out, getting into Spider-Man, the MCU Spider-Man, and not having to see Uncle Ben die, jumping
Right.
right in as an established Spider-Man and showing like
Exactly.
his
You ain't even
entire
seen him get
backstory
bit
was a
by the spider.
conversation with
Well,
Tony
we never
Stark.
saw him got bit by. Yeah.
Like
Don't
his
need
entire
need
backstory was a
it.
conversation with Tony Stark and a crappy costume. That was his backstory.
Right.
2-minute wrap up on
Maybe we
screen.
get a Miles Morales in this because
Because you know what? If
we're
this is an Ultimates,
You're
see,
going
I'm gonna just
places.
Look,
Segue.
let me
Segue.
yeah.
I'm
Okay,
gonna hop in and I'm a
write my notes over
I'm
here.
a sell you on the future by
There we
looking
go.
at the past. All right,
yes.
we have, in many ways, because of what the MCU grew into by the time we got to Endgame, we have overinflated many of the early projects that came in the MCU before the average person even knew we were building up to an Avengers, right? So when you talk about Avengers, the movies that come before Avengers, you have Iron Man, everybody loved. Incredible Hulk, we had, and then we end up even recasting it, right? Iron Man 2, some people like it, some people don't. It was serviceable, but not great. Thor, decent introduction to the character. Captain America, the first Avenger, decent introduction to the character. Then we get Avengers. And Avengers is just a feat because it's like, this is a good movie. We're introduced to Loki. We see, what does it mean to bring all these people together? And we're like, okay, this is interesting. It's not a out
Well,
of
second
this
sighting of
world
Loki.
mind.
Second sighting of Loki in Avengers.
Yeah, well, I mean, we bring Loki in as like the overarching
Gotcha.
kind of
Gotcha.
bad that's
The
going to
bad
be
guy.
kind
The
of
baddie.
this
He's the
evil
baddie.
thread through the MCU, right?
Gotcha.
Like,
Yeah.
but we that first Avengers, it was like, it was good, but it wasn't on Endgame's level. You know what I'm saying? So it was, the first Avengers was not on Endgame's level.
Not on Endgame. I'm just saying it
Yeah.
was very, very, very. It was very good. It's one of
It
the
was
But
the
top
first.
six.
It was
but
the
It's one of
first
the
kind of
top
movie
6
that
Avengers
did.
movies.
part
It's
of
one
the
of the
reason
top
why
6
people
Marvel
think that
movies.
it's good is because it has such a high degree of difficulty, because we had to get all of these characters on screen together. Nobody got shortchanged the way that happens in the X-Men movies. Like, it was really the first, it became the blueprint for a team up movie, but that's a high degree of difficulty just because of the fact that it is a team up and you're bringing in all these different characters and hoping that
Needed
people
2
understand
directors to make
and
it
respond to them. And then as you keep going, you're building on this slowly, right? After Endgame,
Mhm.
you have to start over. And we are in the part where we have started over, but people wanted it to just build
Keep
on
going
top of
up.
Endgame.
Right.
So when you look at what has happened after Endgame, some of the properties that you've named, where you're saying we haven't reinvested in those, well, we have more characters, and yes, they were trying to throw stuff against the wall and see what sticks. But Kevin Feige's back. That's one major selling point, in my opinion. He slowed all of it down. We've cleared a lot off of the slate, and where we're going is X-Men versus Avengers. When you have a multiverse event, the whole point of any multiversal event is to consolidate the multiverse into one single universe.
Which is what
That
Avengers
is what
was.
that is what the story, overarching story, has to be, by, because people are already like, the multiverse is confusing, it's a cop out. It's like, it's a means to an end, because if the X-Men just showed up in the Marvel MCU that we got now, people are gonna be like, where the hell was y'all at during the Battle of New York? where the hell was y'all at during Endgame? Y'all motherfuckers, I ain't see no cards flying. I ain't see no
Well,
fastball special. I ain't see
we're
no
upstate
optic
New York.
blast.
It's different up here.
It wasn't our fight. Like, motherfucker,
You know
y'all
what?
live
They
on
were on the
Earth.
Mind
north.
our business at the
Like,
Like,
they were
mansion.
on the
y'all
north.
live on Earth. Y'all was gonna die too. Like y'all would have, and it was in New York. Y'all should have been out there.
That's
So
facts,
they have to find an explanation on how they can weave these things into the MCU universe that we already know and love. Now, when I look at the characters, which in my opinion is what the MCU has always been built on, we're introducing characters that people love, right? In the X-Men. With how we recast them, I trust Marvel on casting. I trust Marvel on the superpowers. I know we're not going to get emo rogue. We're going to get Southern Belle, big hair, flying, kicking butt with a, decent sized
They got
Caucasian
options.
posterior.
They got options.
But I'm also looking at some of the other characters that we have on the MCU side, and it's just like people are just going to have to get over that their faves are gone. They just have people have not gotten over it. That's the bottom line. Like the same way they mad at Sam Wilson in the movies, people mad about that in real life. Well, you ain't no captain. He's not Steve Rogers. That's the whole damn point. Like, were you watching the show? He gave a whole Shakespearean soliloquy at the end. He's not Steve Rogers, and he's not trying to be. And people are going to have to accept that. Now, you might have to give people a little bit more of an interesting product than what you did in Falcon and Winter Soldier in order for them to accept that. But from what I saw from that trailer, I'm very interested in it. I'm gonna go ahead and say it now. We can revisit it when we talk about the movie when it come out. Sam Wilson fighting style is way more interesting to me than Steve Rogers. The incorporation of the wings and what he be doing, what he was doing in that trailer. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to see no white man just run across and just throw a shield. He throwing a shield, flying, doing backflips, spinning candy kicks, and catch. Like, if you're not interested in that, that's fine.
I'm
we
not
can
saying
pretend.
that. I'm not saying
I have a block when it comes to Anthony Mackie, and I don't know why. That man has never hurt me or done me wrong.
It's just
Black Mirror.
No, he looked like somebody told him something funny and he want to tell everybody, but he can't.
Yeah.
I'm just
I
saying.
will say that
he's got a
talking
mouthful
about
of
Anthony
Cheez-Its.
Mackie doing wrong.
Elijah Bradley,
Black
he's always like.
But
Elijah Bradley's character has me absolutely interested. How they're incorporating him into
but it's the future. It's the future of the MCU as a whole. And I think with the TVA, as somebody I quasi enjoyed Loki. With the TVA,
I enjoyed both seasons
being
of Loki,
in that role, and the TVA kind of role is shifting as well. So I think that's the other thing we're going to have to understand. This is going to be our introduction to a new TVA that is not about killing other timelines and just protecting one. This is one where they're trying to respect and preserve all timelines. How do you do so? So how do you do that? And what is Deadpool's role going to be in that? I think overall, if you just look at it, eventually all of these things are going to have to converge into one point that I'm interested in seeing what that convergence looks like. I'm a huge X-Men fan. I am very excited to see what Kevin Feige is able to do when he gets his hands on that property. I am not a huge Fantastic Four fan, but I'm interested to see what Kevin Feige does with that property and when he gets his hands on it. And all the stuff that people didn't like was when he was not as hands-on. He is more hands-on now, and that's my pitch for the future. Kevin Feige, he's the one who brought us Endgame. He's the one who did all of that and kept the thread pulled tight.
Yeah,
and so
he was Kevin.
He ain't just forget how to do that. He's gonna go through all the stuff post Endgame, pluck out the best parts, and discard the rest the same way he did with all the other phases. Because there was some stuff that got left on the cutting room floor from some of them early movies too.
But he ain't Zack Snyder, so we don't get director's cuts.
We don't need director's cuts.
Don't need them, right? We get it right the first time.
Facts. We tell the story right the
Hell,
first
you
time.
gonna make a director's cut of a movie you got the final say of? Man, I ain't watching.
Watch your vision twice.
The hell?
And
We don't
that's
talk
15
about
minutes of poppy seeds.
Okay. Thank you for that. But
Smoking
Teresa,
poppy seeds if you want to watch that shit.
you the one. It was your statement that made me ask that question. It was you who was talking about potential and where it's going. So, where do you think? What's the potential that you seeing in it?
Well, I want to say, first of all, because when you posed the question, you were like, convince me, sell me or whatever. And I'm not trying to be snarky or anything, but that's not my job. That's not the.
If you're not a
And
fan,
I don't
don't work
mean,
here.
I'm not a sales.
Marvel
Right.
ain't cut me a check. No.
I'm not a salesperson because I don't go in. I'm not a fan to convert you, to bring you over. And
I
I'm
accept.
thinking about that, and I'm like that in a lot of my life. Even when I went to church or whatever, I'm not the one to bring you to God. It's just because I'm an introvert. I'm quiet. I'm socially awkward, so I'm not going to try to convince you of anything.
I'd be so grateful she'd be on here talking with us. Y'all have no idea.
I'm in it for my own entertainment.
Mhm.
And so all of the people who are talking about superhero fatigue or the Marvel universe sucks and it's dead or whatever, I'm like, okay, bye. I'm still gonna be front and center. I'm still gonna be at every movie on Thursday after I saw the sneak preview on Wednesday for free. And it's not my job to convince you that it's gonna get better. That being said, like I said, I'm not trying to be snarky or anything. That's just me.
I accept it, Queen. You're good.
As far as the potential, what I mean is from what I have seen with the TVA and the trailers where Deadpool is saying he's Marvel Jesus or whatever. That the TVA, you have the multiverse. We know that we've got at least one Wolverine, and it's not Logan. So we're talking about different timelines, and we're talking about. I mean, from what we've seen X-Men, and they've said that this is what's going to bring the X-Men and the MCU kind of together. That's the potential I'm talking about, because we know they're going to be mutants.
Right.
So
Just the fact that there would be mutants in this movie, and this movie has to transition because the TVA exists in the MCU.
Right.
That is an
Right.
MCU thing. When they make the move to go to wherever Deadpool is, that is the MCU reaching out and grabbing Deadpool. Once you bring him over, boom, you just put him in the MCU. Now,
right.
canonizing the fact that Deadpool is connected to the X-Men through Colossus, through Negasonic Teenage Warhead and such.
Yeah.
Right.
Even the little cameo where
I mean, when he went to the mansion and with
Kelsey
Colossus.
Grammer closed the door.
Right. Yeah, exactly. We know
Now,
he's part of them.
So, given that that's in the same universe, by the TVA reaching over, grabbing him, that makes that merger. To tack on to the specific phrase that Jeff used, that convergence point, having Deadpool in any fashion doing any kind of multiverse movement, the convergence, if we go back to Doctor Strange, a convergence is when two planets start to collide till only one of them remains.
Right. That's a convergence is not a good thing.
So if we have, and this is, early spoiler alert, that's like one of the big things about Secret Wars. And if you want to have like a dope ass story, you take Secret Wars, combine that with X-Men versus Avengers. The convergence is how this takes place, or the convergence could be why this takes place. Now, this is one man just spitballing right here, okay? But when you ask about the potential, that is the type of story they could tell now. And so, as was mentioned, the possibilities that you open up by incorporating these established characters and the people that they are canonically connected to, adding in multiverse and the fluidness of the multiverse, you can do whatever the hell you want. You get to have a soft reboot without it being a cop out because you can write it in.
Right.
This took place in another universe. That took place in another universe. I mean, hell, the Fantastic Four that's already been cast takes place in the 60s.
Right.
How the hell do we get to the 60s in the MCU? Where were they at? Why didn't they do something beforehand? Did they just disappear? Like all the questions that we would want to have and ask. And you would ask earlier about the Eternals and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that was the first thing everybody said with the Eternals. Oh, so y'all was here when all of that, but y'all didn't want to get involved in. Y'all have shaped
they answered in the movie, right? Which they answered in the movie. They literally thought about it and they answered it in the movie, right?
But they shaped every major event in human existence.
But this ain't an event in human existence. This is a universal event. Thanos was a universal event. He didn't wipe off half of life at Earth. He wiped off half of existence in the universe. Like technically, that's what he was supposed to have done, right? So obviously, why we never discussed why the MCU never went into, oh my God, like you wiped off half of this planet and half of this planet, and why no other civilizations got involved with that. But the
same reason we're not dealing with Black Bolt and the rest of them up on the moon. It didn't hit. It wasn't like everybody didn't rush out and be like, oh my God, Eternals was so great. I can't wait for the next one. They was like, what?
Right. I will say, this is the thing I will say. And I appreciate everybody's perspective on it because I think everybody definitely opened my eyes a little bit to how to enjoy the future of what the possibility, what the possibility presents from where the MCU can go with it. I think my biggest fear of all of this is just don't write it badly. They have been on a bad streak of the characters are there, right? I sense the characters. The X-Men are there. Captain Britain is there. There's all these good possibilities. My biggest hope, and I'm not going to get too hater into it. I'm just going to say that I just hope that every single possibility that each and every one of y'all presented is written with the care. Like Jeff said, Kevin Feige's back, so let's hope it is written with the care that it deserves. There are good stories to be told. There are a lot of things. I'm hopeful. I saw X-23, so I'm hopeful that that's our new Wolverine. Like I don't need a new male Wolverine. I will take X-23. That girl is grown now. I loved her in Logan. We obviously know Wolverine is dead. So if you bring her in, and y'all haven't seen it. Holy shit. Did I just spoil some shit for y'all?
No, that was the character I was talking about earlier.
Not for me.
All right. Okay, cool. All right. Because you said he, and I was like, tried to be slick.
That is one of those things for those viewing at home. That would be one of those things. Like I said, as I've been trying real hard to avoid this, that, and the other.
It's not a spoiler.
And saw that there was they've already done an interview with the actress.
Oh, see,
why
I just saw the trailer.
With her in that? Damn it! That means she's in the. You know what I'm saying? And
she
wasn't in no trailer.
So. I just saw a trailer. That was it. I didn't see no interviews. I just saw the trailer.
But even then, a trailer. I saw a thumbnail for New Rockstars, and she was in it. And I
don't watch New Rockstars.
No, you don't even have to watch it. You pull up YouTube. The thumbnail is right there.
And your algorithm puts it.
Yeah, I see. That's the thing. I don't watch New Rockstars. I don't watch none of those guys. So they don't come up in my trailer. All that comes up in my trailer is police beating people up. So obviously we watch different things on the YouTube. But
you know what? I need you to go back and watch our videos if you just need some better shit to watch. Like
I have some catching up to do. I do. I admitted that earlier. I admitted that to everybody because I was not feeling well. So I missed a couple of shows. If you're wondering why you're just getting
No, we
them that well. So
as time permits, you are, you get to it. When you get to it, you see, I don't put pressure on anybody to watch our videos. Hell, y'all be on most of them, so I get it if you don't go back. You was here.
there
You
you
was
go.
here. I don't necessarily
My
expect y'all
colleagues are
to
very
watch.
capable of
Now,
doing
if you
very
don't,
great
My
shows.
dearest
don't,
wish,
if you not
my
on one,
dearest wish and projection, and I know it's not going to come true, but if I could throw something into the universe and they would grant it for me through this movie, bring back
I'll,
Moon Knight. They shouldn't have canceled that. That was an amazing show. I want that character. I want that character in the MCU on the big screen. Both, all of them. Moon Knight, Steven, all of them. I love
and it's amazing because he's an
like again,
incredibly
I could,
feared
like it
character.
can.
He's an
We're gonna go bye bye.
incredibly feared character in the Marvel universe. Like in the actual Marvel universe, people are scared because he's a nutbag.
Yeah, he's a
And I
little
think
unhinged.
he makes a great character. So
I mean, I
all
think
right.
the thing about it is like what Marvel missed is balance. Like when you think about that first group, it was balanced in terms of like the types of people that were involved. After Endgame, when they went back to kind of more individualized one-off products, because you were not seeing characters interacting with each other, which is what we had gotten used to, everything became like unbalanced. And so you're watching this and it's like, this doesn't even feel like the MCU because like Moon Knight feels so different from She-Hulk, which feels so different from Hawkeye, which feels so different from Miss Marvel. And it's like they were struggling to find that balance and tone across the board with everybody separated. But I do think that, in my opinion, watching something like the Marvels, that to me was starting to get back to what I was missing about the previous generations, which was watching these different types of people interact and learn how to work together to achieve a common goal.
They did a
And I
good job
think
of that.
that's been the real strength of the MCU in general. It's like first Avengers movie, like Cap and Iron Man talking to each other like Real Housewives. Like damn,
Big
Cap,
man in a suit.
like you supposed to be
Put
big
suit
man,
on.
like damn, Cap.
Put suit on.
Everything
Put
good about
suit
you
on.
came out of
I
a
throw a
bar.
drink at
Like,
you right now.
Yeah,
like they was like ready
it
to
was
fight.
catty.
They was ready to fight. Put the
And
suit on.
but
Put the suit on.
that comes full circle. What does Cap say? You're not the guy to make the sacrifice. In the end, who's the guy to make the sacrifice? The very person who you said wasn't. We see Cap trying to lift Thor's hammer. Yeah, we don't love Age of Ultron, but guess what? It comes back. No, we don't love Thor the Dark World, but guess what? All that crap that happened in there comes back with the Infinity Stones. So it's like, even when they do something bad, they sift through the shit to find the gold and pluck that out, leave the shit where it is. They didn't bring back everything from Thor the Dark World. They was just like, all right, this one little thing. We're gonna bring that over. Everything else, we're gonna pretend like that don't even exist. So
not
I think
only that, but to RG, think about how, like you just said, Age of Ultron. I didn't like Age of Ultron. I remember leaving the theater like, well, what the hell? Like it just didn't.
disappointed.
And then I watched WandaVision. And then I went back and watched Age of Ultron, and it was like I saw it for the first time. So don't sleep on Marvel and some of the stuff that they putting out that you're like, this doesn't even have anything. This doesn't.
I mean,
Why would
I
they?
liked that version, right? I liked all of that. I liked Age of Ultron. I honestly liked Age of Ultron, and I didn't require all of that stuff. I did actually like that, right? My issue is that it's everything post Endgame outside of the Spider-Man movies, right? And no, I'm not going to say outside of the Spider-Man movies. That's a lie, right?
And I feel like saying everything is a little too inclusive.
Yeah, because it's not true, right? I liked Multiverse of Madness, right? I didn't like where it went, right? Like obviously you deciding to convert Wanda, I'm not cool with, right? But I liked most of the movie. Everything up until that point I was okay with, right? Y'all know my issue with Disney Marvel.
So before
Make
you get
the
to that
bad
part,
guys
Wanda was
a
not a bad
bad
person.
guy.
Wanda was not. Wanda has
I'm
never
not saying she was
been the
she
villain.
started off trying to, she made the Hulk go nuts, right? She made the Hulk go
Yes.
nuts. She started as a bad guy. Her and Quicksilver were under Ultron. They were in that room. They were doing the crazy stuff the first time we saw them. They were supposed to be bad guys. Now, I get it if you want to make them redeemable. I get it if you want to make your villains understandable. You just have to pick a villain strong enough for all of us to be like, they're going to have a problem with this person, right? But I need to root against that bad person. You put all these characters in front of us, right? So what Jeff said about the balance, right? And it's also the number of characters that you pick. The first time they did it, phases 1 through 4, everybody had clearly defined roles and clearly defined character arcs. Right now, everybody's kind of this ambiguously neutral, good or evil type thing. That's the issue that I have. That's where my concern is. Oh, okay.
I don't know if we're watching the same MCU.
It took 20 movies, 20 plus movies to get to the connection you have to Endgame, and you mad you ain't got there in 5 shows.
No, it's not, because it's not just 5 shows. There's 2 seasons of Loki. There's WandaVision. There's Echo. There's She-Hulk. There's a bunch of shows. There's a bunch of stuff.
5. You named 5. What's left?
Hold on.
Look, this is what it is. Okay,
but even so, this would still just be considered
Falcon,
phase
Soldier,
1.
Loki.
Right. Falcon.
What if?
What if? Right.
Loki, Black Widow.
Knight,
What if? Shang-Chi,
Widow.
Eternals, Hawkeye, Spider-Man, Moon Knight, Doctor Strange, Miss Marvel, Thor: Love and Thunder, She-Hulk, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumanium, Guardians 3.
And you ain't like none of that.
No,
All
I
of
didn't
that was
say
garbage
that.
to you.
On individual levels,
Secret
it's not that.
Invasion.
It's not that. On individual
'cause-
levels, some of these movies are very good. What I don't see that you guys see is the connection. I don't understand
'Cause
how
it
we're
does-
going to get a
'cause
connection
currently-
out of these.
Nobody's sitting
It's
here
not
trying
connected.
to pretend like everything is so perfectly tied in. Nobody said that. In fact, I would say everybody agrees the problem has been that there is no connection. The first time we started to see, because every one of those projects that was mentioned, with the exception of Guardians, Thor, Black Panther, if it wasn't a direct sequel from a previous movie, there would not have been an established connection. Falcon and Winter Soldier had an established connection, so it was already tied in. All of the new items, and in fairness, that's probably where my mind went when you said all this new stuff, because I don't consider post Endgame Falcon and the Winter Soldier to be new. These are characters I've seen so many times, they not new to me. Even if they have their own show for the first time, them not new characters.
Right,
Miss
right,
Marvel,
right,
Well, to be
That's a
fair,
new
okay.
character.
So, but to be fair, it took 20 movies to get to Endgame, but it only took 5 movies to get to Avengers. So in phase 1, they did do a better job of connecting everything faster, but that's just because there was nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right, all we have are Agents of
built-
S.H.I.E.L.D. and Carter.
Well,
We had
yeah,
the 2
and I
shows.
mean, and
Those were the 2
I don't even
shows we
count
had.
those because none of those have any bearing on what happened in the
But
movie.
they exist
kept-
in the same universe, right? Like the
Right.
shows reference
Agents of
things
Shield doesn't.
that have
Agents of Shield is not
reference the
considered
things.
part of the Marvel Cinematic
No,
Universe.
but it referenced things that happened in the universe.
It did, which is why I don't
Netflix shows
understand that.
referenced, but it's not
I don't
canonically
understand
tied
why
in
that is.
until
But they
Daredevil.
have to be, right? When Shield, the show, literally, when was it
There was a
Civil
point
War
where
or
she-
Civil
there was
War
a
or whenever,
Civil War, yeah, it
right
brought
after
down
Civil
yeah.
War, the next thing you know, that season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they're underground.
Yeah,
It referenced. It
connected,
was
but it
directly
was-
connected.
They say that it's not though. Like they legitimately said
Well,
Agents of Shield not
unfortunately
part of
the
the Marvel
show
There
Cinematic
literally
was
did it
Universe.
at
I
the time.
swear.
there was a
But
lot
yeah,
Yeah,
of
they
they have
referenced it.
said that.
there,
They did
there was
say
a
that
lot
it
of
wasn't canon, even though it does drop the name
yeah.
Right, but
in the
that's the
show.
thing. I can't believe what you
Well,
did, and you just showed me it, and your motherfucker
there,
sat on there for 2 episodes and talked about something that
there,
happened in the movie.
there was a lot of drama because the cast was feeling cast aside by Marvel by not being included in the movies. So it was like movie
Right.
stuff was happening in the show, but
Right.
stuff that was
Right.
happening in the show was not happening in the movie.
In the
And
movie.
the reason that they ended up discarding it was because they didn't have the Fox contract. So they were in the process in the comics of killing off all the mutants and trying to replace mutants with Inhumans. Then the Fox merger happened and they said, fuck that. And so then they were just like, we don't care about Inhumans no more. That's why Inhumans went from being a 2-part movie to a 1-part movie to a show that was supposed to be on Netflix to a show that was supposed to be a season long arc on ABC to some shit they ended up throwing away over the summer and running like 2 episodes a night on Saturday nights, and nobody watched that shit because they realized they had their golden goose back. So it was a lot of like contractual backroom stuff
Yeah.
happening that was affecting why certain things were being talked about and why. So after that, a lot of stuff happened in Agents of Shield that had no bearing on what was happening in the MCU as well. When they went to the LMDs and when they went to like the
Right.
future and she had cracked the world in half and all that other shit like that, like none of that is MCU
In the show,
movie
in the movies.
canon.
But
Yeah.
they kind of resolved it. I mean, it was kind of self-contained within the show, right? Like, even though they didn't reference it in the show itself, right, or afterward in the movies, right? Obviously you have a graviton, right? That the bad guy from Agents of
Yep.
Shield. This dude is
Yep.
strong enough to fuck with anybody, right? And the
Right.
way they killed him off was some old, oh my god, I'm gonna self destruct because now remember I was a army dude and I should do the right thing, right? Obviously, they kind of oh let's figure out a nice way to wrap this up so we
Yeah.
don't got to associate it with the movie. I
Yeah.
get everything that you're saying regarding the political aspect of it. It's just what they presented to me, right? Because at the time, I actually loved Agents of Shield. I thought it was a great show. I
It was.
literally thought it was a
We were
great
just in the
show.
minority of people who watched it. And Marvel also at that time had a habit of being influenced by the conversation happening in the zeitgeist. People saying they didn't like shit made Marvel switch gears.
Abandoned.
And even people complaining so much about this phase of the MCU has made Marvel switch gears. They brought back Kevin Feige. They slowed down on the project. So they listen to their audience to a degree, sometimes to a fault, sometimes to their benefit. I think that had they had some sort of like what they did at the end of Eternals, right? Not Eternals, like what they did at the end of the Marvels, where now Miss Marvel is like, yo, like we needed a new Avengers. Like I'm getting together with this person and that person. I'm trying to make a team. I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying? Like now I think we're getting back into it. I mean, I said that on an episode of therapy. Like we got to figure out. They were so focused on Kang because of how people responded to Loki, because of how people responded to Thanos. They were so focused on giving us our big bad when they forgot, like, we didn't see Thanos for real till like 6, 7 movies. He was just like a
Yeah.
in post credits thing. And now
So he
Kang
went
was
and grabbed it and
in
said, I'll do it
everything and
myself.
getting defeated by everybody. And you showed us so much Kang, and it's like, I don't even know if I like the people who y'all are having go up against them. So I think in this next phase, they're focusing on the heroes. Maybe Deadpool is there to clean it up a little bit. He's there to provide, I think, a new edge, a new level of commentary. Like he, in my opinion, in terms of the commentary, is going to be coming from that place of like where Robert Downey Jr. came from as Iron Man, where
Right.
it was like, I'm about it and I'm about the fucking mission, but like, you're not gonna make me have to be serious. Like,
Right.
I'm gonna kill everybody, I'm gonna do my job, but I'm gonna do it my way. I'm gonna be a free spirit, and then you're gonna have your stick in the mud characters, whether it's a Captain America, whether it's a Captain Marvel, whether it's a whoever. You know what I mean? Like I think what I have seen is they are. I mean, and we haven't even talked about how the new nobody know who he is. Spider-Man is going to come back into the mix too.
Or
So
Daredevil.
there's a lot of they've been gathering ingredients, and right now what it is like you walked in the kitchen and you was like, what you gonna do with a lemon and a turkey and some green beans and some lentils and like you're
peanut
looking
butter.
at all this stuff and you're like, I don't know what this
There's some
how does
chocolate
go
chips.
together?
What's going on in here?
Yeah.
There's a lot of peanut butter and chocolate chips
chopped.
out there. I'm trying to figure out what's going
It's
on.
an episode of Chopped right now, and all they've done is open the basket, and everybody's sitting at home like, "This is gonna be disgusting." And it's like, well, they're chefs. Let them cook it up, and we'll see.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I appreciate
That
the
was
alternatives. You got to have this alternative perspective because I'm tough. Thank you.
It's going to be fun regardless.
Yeah,
It's going to
that's
be
what
a good time.
I agree. Go into it just expecting to have fun.
These
These is comic books, bro.
I would say this very
it's
first
gonna be
movie,
a good time.
Deadpool and Wolverine. I would love
just
for
want to
all
see
this
them
other
beat some
stuff.
people up.
I would love for all this other stuff to be revealed and shown and exist and explained and clarified. But at the end of the day, I'm going to see Deadpool and Wolverine. And I don't need them to do nothing but be Deadpool and Wolverine on screen. And
snick.
They,
literally
pew pew.
Why
exactly
right?
Look at the camera, look directly at the camera, make a joke,
Swing,
and then
swing. Whatever sound effects.
like no,
I'm not going to Deadpool and Wolverine for like
that was spectacular. Wow.
And honestly, I think that is the one thing that may help you enjoy, to take a little bit of the hate out of your heart. Just go into the movie to see Deadpool and Wolverine, not to see the future of the MCU.
Nachos.
Oh, I'm gonna be high as hell when I see this.
Go to one of those theaters where you can like have the food brought to your table, have you a drink. But make sure you go to a showing where other people want to see the damn movie. I'm gonna say that.
I'm the only hater. You got to understand. Obviously, as with the show, I am a singular hater. The Sith is the power of two.
You take another hater with you, he gonna make you hate something you like. Just be careful.
Unfortunately, I'm gonna take somebody who's probably gonna fall asleep in the movie unless it's good.
Well, so far everybody loves it. I have not seen one person yet who come out and be like,
I am one of the luckiest people. Tomorrow is my wife's birthday, and she just told me I had to buy 3 more tickets to take the kids to go to the movie with us. She wanted to do a family
outing
to see the movie, so we will be out in full force. I got to get another Deadpool t-shirt since I'm wearing this one today.
Make sure you eat before you go.
So
just bring your big purse.
Look, I said I'm taking the wife and the daughter. We good.
That's right.
Good.
The Dollar General trip. I forgot about the Dollar General.
Put up Tupperware in the
Go to Dollar Tree and just
pass the college.
Just throw the Dollar Tree, just throw them all right in the bag.
Thanks. Like what?
All right.
So we didn't tell you to do that, Regal Theater.
We are
in
going
case you're thinking about sponsoring us.
We're going to enjoy Deadpool Wolverine. This was our little preview, little pregame, as we are showing varying degrees of excitement. It's one of the biggest movies I'm looking forward to, but it's just a drop in the bucket for Brandy, who has multiple movies she's looking forward to this year. This is just one of them. Jeff can't wait for Wicked to come out either. I'm the only one who's sleeping on that because Teresa is also voting for that. But we're going to see Deadpool and Wolverine here coming up. Excited about that. Who knows? Maybe RG has a better perspective as he goes in to watch it this go round, and he may actually get to enjoy it. I pray they have just a true evil ass villain for you. I'm hoping that that's the case. If what I've read and what I see to be true is true, that's an evil ass villain, and I hope they just let them be who they're supposed to be. But those are our thoughts. Tell us what you think after you've seen the movie. Come back. We'll probably, I would say, sometime next week we should be able to get to the Deadpool and Wolverine post movie review. We can come back and do our spoiler review, and then we can see if all of our thoughts actually panned out. But that's our show for tonight. We thank you for
Wait a
watching.
minute. I'm sorry, sir. Can I ask y'all to do something real quick? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt him, but I just need y'all to kind of like, because I've been doing a lot of talking. So if y'all can hit that like button and then that subscribe button, like I'm broke. I got like grown kids and grandkids, and they be asking me for stuff. So if you hit that like, we could probably get some bread. This dude is really trying to get to like $50. I owe him like 30, but he might get 50 if y'all get to like 100 likes on this. So if y'all do that, we kind of really appreciate that. My bad, bro.
QR code is right there in the corner for you to click and find everywhere you can find us online. Join our Facebook group. We are Grown A Geeks. Joining me tonight was Cashmere the Pro, Teresa the Magical Negro, Jeffrey JPNT17. Insert cool nickname right here. That's Brandy. And I'm your admin at Grown A Geeks, Elder Geek Sam. We thank you for joining us. Be sure to like and subscribe. But for now, we are out of here. Peace.